Good morning, students. Today, I am going to start the chapter Budget. Now, this chapter carries 8 to 9 marks from a board's point of view. The first thing is meaning of budget. Now, what is budget? Budget is a financial statement containing estimated receipts and expenditure of the government for current year. यानी कि every year the government prepares a budget. It includes estimated. Estimated मतलब होता है कि we decide कि this year we are going to spend this much money on agriculture, this much on industry, this much on service sector. This is expenditure of the government for the current year. Next we have objectives of budget. That means why do government make budget? First is reallocation of resources. Now what is allocation? Allocation is concerned with three problems: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Now it is the budget that the government decide which goods are to be produced more and which goods are to be produced less. For example, those goods which are essential for society, they are produced in large quantity, and those goods which are not good for society, they are produced in less quantity. But that is done with the help of two things. One is of tax and other is subsidy. Now those things which are essential for the society of the country, that on that subsidy is given by the government to produce more and more, so that more and more people are benefited. Similarly, to reduce the consumption of harmful goods such as alcohol, cigarette, tobacco, etc., the government imposes a high tax on these types of goods. So students, first one was reallocation of resources. Second is redistribution of income and wealth. Now students, the budget is prepared by the government to reduce the gap between rich and poor. And this can be also done by two methods. One is tax and other is subsidy. Whenever the government prepares a budget, it imposes high tax on rich people and gives subsidy to the poor people. The tax which is imposed on income, that is known as income tax, and which is also known as progressive tax. What is progressive tax? It is a tax which increases with the increase in income. That means the more the income, the more the tax. The less the income, the less the tax. So redistributing income and wealth means to reduce the gap between rich and poor. That can be done by two methods: by imposing tax on rich people and giving subsidy to the poor people. The third objective is economic stability. Now students, economic stability of a country is concerned with the control over price level. Now if the price level of the country is controlled, then automatically there will be stability. Now when the price is not controlled, sometimes there is inflation in the country and sometimes there is deflation in the country. Which means inflation means continuous rise in price and deflation means continuous fall in price. So both these are harmful for the country. Now to control inflation, as I told you in central bank credit control, that means to control inflation, the government imposes more tax. When the government imposes more tax, then what happens? The people have less money to be spent in the market. As a result, the inflation will be controlled. On the other hand, when there is deflation in the economy, the government reduces tax so that there is more money with the public to be spent. So this is known as economic stability. Now fourth objective is economic growth. That means it is with the help of budget the government can bring about economic growth in a country. Now economic growth, as I told you before, in planning chapter, it is concerned with the growth in GDP. And GDP means gross domestic product. It includes the value of all types of goods and services produced during an accounting year. Now, that means economic growth of the country is achieved by means of controlling its revenue and expenditure. By controlling its revenue and expenditure. That means if the government wants to control, if you want to increase the economic growth of a country, then expenditure must be less and revenue must be more. Only then the growth of GDP will be there. So students, these are the four objectives of budget. First one is reallocation of resources. Reallocation of resources means it is with the help of budget that the government decides which goods are to be produced on the basis of their priority. And next is, in the same, we have there are some goods which are harmful for society and some goods which are not harmful for society, which are required by the society. Those goods which are harmful for society, they are to be taxed more and production must be less, and those goods which are beneficial for the people, they must be given subsidy so that their production is more. Second objective of budget is redistribution of income and wealth, which means it is with the help of budget that the government tries to reduce the gap between rich and poor. And the gap can be reduced by two methods, tax and subsidy. Here we are including that tax means income tax or progressive tax. Tax which is imposed on the income of the consumer, that be increased, which means more tax on rich people and subsidy must be given to the poor people. Third is economic stability. The economic stability of every country depends upon the control over price level. Now when the price level is not controlled, there it gives rise to two situations. One is inflation and other is deflation. Inflation means continuous rise in price and deflation means continuous fall in price. Now both these are not beneficial for the country. That means to control inflation, the government increases the tax so that there is less money with the public to be spent. On the other hand, when there is deflation, the government imposes less tax. Okay? Last is economic growth. Now economic growth of the country depends upon the growth rate of GDP. This we have studied in the objective chapter, planning chapter. It can be controlled by means of two policies, revenue policy and expenditure policy. Clear? Achha ji. Then with the help of revenue expenditure, that means saving and investment can be increased. Now with the help of saving and investment only, there can be increase in GDP. If the saving is more, investment is more, and if saving is less, investment is also less. Therefore, these are the four objectives of government budget. Okay, thank you, beta. Next, Baki part I will do in next video. Please look at it.